Welcome to Aspects of Writing with your host, James Kelly. Now, let's get writing. Here's your host, James Kelly.
Hello and welcome to Aspects of Writing. I'm your host, James Kelly, and today on the show we have Eric McConnell and we have Craig PArry and Terry Arnold.
Hello.
It is Arnold, right?
It sure is.
Oh, gosh, because I got it wrong the other day. So I want to make sure. And we're going to be talking about a couple books that you collaborated on, is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we're going to go into a little bit of how international distribution can work for you or against you, and particularly if you're a self-published author. And Terry, you brought these guests to us. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
You're quite welcome.
All right, and if you have questions, just jump in. Okay?
I will. Thank
all
you.
Right. So first of all, why don't you introduce yourself, Eric?
My name is Eric.
Wise guy.
Yeah. No. It's just because I'm nervous. Yeah, I'm a self-published author. I come from an animation background. I worked as a storyboard artist on animated TV series for 25 years.
Wow.
There was an unexpected medical emergency in my life, was removed from the industry abruptly. 18 months later, tried to get back in, and it was a no-go. I knew at that point that chapter of my life had closed. Meanwhile, Craig PArry, my business partner, had come up with an idea for these children's books about the life of Noah, imagined as a child. And these books are basically designed as therapeutic tools to help children cope with struggles with the pain of disabilities or emotional issues, which more than ever now kids struggle with. So at the time he pitched this idea to me, I was too busy. I was working for major studios. I was sometimes 7 days a week. It was just out of the question. But now that my life has opened up and I'm technically retired from that industry, we decided to give it a go. And so Craig comes up with story ideas. I author and flesh out the story from beginning, middle to end. I'm also an illustrator trained from the background in animation. So we put together these books with themes, and they tend to be a little bit longer than your average children's book because there are stories to tell about each little animal that is suffering, and ultimately its design is to show kids how special they are in God's sight, how much they're loved, and always, the possibility of, the certainty of finding hope, healing, and the opportunity to lead a happy life.
Okay, and before I get to Eric, now you had to retire. Was that because of an accident?
Yeah, just a series of orthopedic surgeries and stuff. I mean, I have enough metal parts in me to start my own welding class. But I don't want you to glaze over because I give you a whole history. I mean, I still stay active. It's just I was born with like a hip dysplasia, and it made itself known early on as an adult, and I had to get a bunch of surgeries done, and it's something that's kind of dogged me most of my life. But anyway, long story, that's for another time. Another time.
All right. Well, that'll be another show.
Yeah.
We definitely have another one for that one.
Oh, definitely.
And then, Eric, give us a little bit of your background and who you are. I'm sorry, Craig.
Yeah, the name on there is CW because that's what I go by, the writing name. My background is I was a mental health counselor for multiple years. I still do it as a ministry, as a pro bono ministry. But as a child, I had extensive problems with learning disabilities.
Okay.
And because of my age, I'm in my 60s, they didn't have any name for it. It was just get out of my class. And I did my best to make sure I did. So I hated academia, and I had a lot of emotional pain that eventually it just had a difficulty fitting in. And so I turned to drugs and alcohol, mostly alcohol, and partied my brains out until I met the Lord at 21 years of age. Then as a special ed teacher, as an adaptive phys ed teacher, I worked with special needs children. And then when I got my master's as a mental health counselor, I realized that children have a problem articulating feelings and emotions. So what they use is they call play therapy. So we know that Noah got him on the boat, so he had to communicate with him somehow. So we kind of stretch it a little bit that he had this kind of gift and this ability to connect and have rapport with animals at a young age. And we use these problems like the first book. It's Young Noah, A Lamb's Tale. It talks about a child a lamb that doesn't fit into the tribe because one leg is longer than the other. So it came up with an idea that it would have a prosthesis. Now, a child that might have difficulty accepting a prosthesis sees that this could make the child more effective in their ability to be part of the tribe and to live in a productive life, gives them hope. And so these stories are about relational issues that children go through, and as you will testify, our kids nowadays, they're growing up too fast. They're learning things they should not learn. Maybe as a child, they're learning at 5, 6, 7, 8 years of age, and they can't process this. So this would be a way for the parent to articulate a problem, maybe to the child to be more willing to accept it, or the parent themselves. Mm-hmm. And so it's destined and it's designed for that.
Okay. Terry, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Terry Arnold. I can say I'm involved in 2 ministries. I work with 2 wonderful gentlemen by the name of David Heavener and here in Las Vegas, Dale Davidson of Las Vegas Tonight.
And you've had a podcast before, or you have a podcast?
Yes, I did. I had Terry Arnold's show, and that goes way back. It's actually coming back. I don't have the date yet, but it's coming.
Okay. All right. All right, and I really, I'm glad you brought these books to our attention. First of all, we will be doing another show on this on a different show. The reason why I wanted to have you on today is because this show is about writing and the whole aspects of writing. And you had an unusual journey because these are hardbound books. And for anyone who's a self-published author, they know how difficult it is or how costly it can be to produce a hardbound book. But not only that, we were sharing before we went on the air of what you had to go through to get these books printed. And really, the only outlet you have to get them distributed in the stores and worldwide, other than Amazon in paperback, would be Ingram Spark. And that's why we want to talk about how difficult it can be for a self-published author to get out there and do this. It's kind of costly. There are other places you can go to and get the hardbound book published, but you always have to factor in what it's going to be for the retail markup, distribution, shipping, and that's where it can really kind of cost the independent author a little bit of sales, because when you go with a traditional publisher, they're usually hooked up with a printing house and they have everything done for them and it's shipped out, and of course their cost is way down compared to what you're doing as a self-published author. So to put this book on a retail for Amazon, what does it retail for, the smaller one?
The smaller one is $15.95. The larger one is $29.95, and there's a reason for that. It's because they're heavily illustrated. These are more like coffee table books. They're not just simply a double colored page spread with some type. They're like graphic novels, kind of in the vein of Frank Miller or something like that. They're basically works of art, and they're set up that way because visuals are really important to kids. When I was a child, because I'm an artist, I was really moved by picture books. I spent all day looking at them. So that's the reason they're designed that way.
Well, and also, just so you know, no matter who you are as an author, because I write children's stories as well, it is costly for you to go out there and print these hardbound books. And one of the things I wanted to share, which I'm going to plug myself here for a minute, I started a company called 1 Million Books in 100 Days. And what we do is we take independent authors out there. We can't do a ton right now, but the idea is to separate you from the crowd, because there's 1 million published titles a year in the United States. So it's very hard to compete in this business. And unfortunately, we can only choose a few people at a time. And what we do is we choose like 10, 12 each time we do this campaign, put them out there, and try and get recognition to that self-published author in hopes that they'll gain a fan or a base and then bring them in to see the site the next time we do the campaign and discover new talent that we've put on there. And the reason I mention that is that because of what it costs to print these books and get them out there, your royalty is very minimal.
Really minimal.
Yeah, almost not. But what we offer, we offer you a platform, though, where if you get these printed, then what we do is we only charge a flat fee. So we're really trying to give back to the author a chance to make something on their work, because you put a lot of time and effort into this, I know. And there is another company out there I would like to mention if you ever do digital printing, and that's Draft to Digital. And they are the same way. It was started by 3 authors, and they take a flat 10% fee, and then you get 90% royalty. If they get you on the major outlets, that's an additional 5% that is taken from them. But for the most part, you're making a considerable amount more money in royalties if you go with Draft to Digital. So those are things I think we need to share, because I know what it costs to do these. How many did you have printed when you had these done?
They're print on demand. So once, say, Ingram Spark places them on Amazon, one of the advantages of Ingram Spark is that they do a lot of the promotional stuff, and they're the ones that take care of all the sales exchange and everything like that.
But when you printed them up for yourself, for your own copies, to go out there on the road,
It was relatively costly. I mean, a box load of the one that you're holding right there was hundreds and hundreds of dollars.
Right. So that's what I'm getting at. I love Ingram in the sense that you can get distribution with them, and you can get your books in the store. What I don't like is the percentage markup, because they get 55%. If you don't give them 55%, they're not going to push your product into the major outlets, because you can choose what percentage you want. And you hurt yourself if you lower that below 55.
I've had to do that.
Yeah. And then with KDP, I'm not sure how much they've changed, but it used to be 40% markup. But it's hard to get your books into the major stores through KDP, unless things have changed in the last year or so. I don't think so. But Ingram is a distributor, and people need to understand they've always been one of the major distributors out there. So they are a real distribution company, separate from the fact that they own Lightning Source, which is the print-on-demand company that is theirs. So those are the things we want our audience to know. This is really a difficult thing to do. How many shows have you been out there hitting the airwaves with this at all?
One other opportunity that Terry had mentioned, Dale Davidson, Las Vegas Tonight. Yeah, back in December of 2020, I went on his show, and he was very gracious and allowed me to just talk about the book. So I didn't go into the mechanics of self-publishing or anything like that. It was just more my background and my testimony to Christian and how I'd arrived at this stage.
Yeah. Well, I think it's important for people to understand that when you go to do radio, you really need to do as much as you can when it comes to radio, or if you have a chance to get an article written up in like the local paper like The View or something like that. Those are really important. If you can get a television spot, that's fantastic. It usually takes weeks. Go ahead, Terry.
Well, what I was going to say is he's had over 1 million views from when we did the show, because Dale wasn't able to, so I actually sat in for him, and I had over 1 million views.
That's fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah, that is great. That's fantastic, yeah. But the point what I was trying to make is that when you go out there and you go on the radio, and you said you had 1 million views, it's great to go out there and get the recognition, but people need to understand that we're telling you about these two gentlemen, Eric McConnell and Craig PArry, because we want name recognition.
Correct.
And that's what writing or going to these television shows or radio shows or newspaper articles is about, is name recognition. It doesn't guarantee you sales, but it does get you name recognition. So then when you're out there in the public's eye and you're doing book signings or whatever, they go, oh, I heard that name. Where did I hear that before? And that's very important. Have you done any book signings with this gentleman?
No, not yet.
No? Do you plan on?
I'd love to, given the opportunity, sure.
Okay. Well, maybe I can help you after the show and get you some ideas on how you can go about this.
That would be great.
Especially since you are with Ingram. It's easier than you think. So that's a really good thing. Do you have any questions for him, Terry? Let me put you on the spot.
I was only going to say my one granddaughter just adores him, and when she saw the book and she had her friends, I sat down. I mean, the little kids just love the book, and then the parents. I'm just going to say it's a great book.
Have you thought about doing any readings? You know, some of the schools will allow you to go in and do readings. Have you done
Well, that's some of the ideas, but I just want to say about Eric, a lot of people don't know that he was the storyboard artist for Pinky and the Brain.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Well,
he's
one of many.
Yeah, and one of many, and also did Curious George on PBS.
Okay.
So he has extensive skills, incredible artistry if you ever get a chance to look at these books. But we would definitely love to talk to you further about what we need to know in this process as we walk through.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we do with the show, is try and help people to understand. We always think that writing the book and illustrating the book is the difficult part, but the reality of it is the most difficult part of it is going out there and promoting it and marketing it. You are a business. At the point at which you finish, when you're self-published, you become the business.
Correct.
And that's where you have to put a different hat on and go out there and do your best. So we're going to help you with that. Do you have anything you'd like to add?
I'm just very grateful. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for being on the show today. Terry, thank you as well. And again, the books are Young Noah, and that's the series. It's a series of books, right?
YoungNoahAdventureSeries.com.
All right. And that's where we can find it, is Young Noah.
YoungNoahAdventureSeries.com.
All right. And they're available on Amazon.
Yes.
What about Barnes & Noble?
Barnes & Noble is the first book in Kindle form, digital.
What they call EPUB.
EPUB.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay.
And then they're both available, I believe, on Amazon. So
Okay.
digital and in the hard card.
And I'm sure on your website they can go there and purchase the books as well.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a link.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being on the show today. And as I always say, if you can dream it, you're welcome. If you can dream it, you can write it. Thank you again.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Terry.
Thank you. God
You're welcome.
bless.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to Aspects of Writing. We hope you will join us next week as we discuss every aspect of the writing industry. Until then, if you can dream it, you can write it.